Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you very much for joining us. Tomorrow is the disappearance day of Srila Gopal Bhatt Goswami. So it's good to remember him today so that we can remember him tomorrow as well. Usually we do it on the day or after, but thought today we do it day before. So I'd like to seek everybody's good wishes and blessings so that we can tap into the mercy of this extraordinary Vaishnava. So he's one of the 6 Goswamis, headed by Sanatan and Rupa Goswamis. Then there was Raghunath Das Goswami, Gopal Bhatt Goswami, Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, and Jiva Goswami. So these are the famous 6 Goswamis of Sri Vrindavan Dham. Very austere, and they carried out the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu after he left. Over 500 years ago, Krishna appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he traveled all over Bharat preaching the holy names of Krishna. He arrived in South Bharat in 1511 at the beginning of the rainy season, and he visited the Ranganath temple in Sri Rangam. The head priest was Venkat Bhatt Goswami. He invited Mahaprabhu to stay with him for the 4 months of the Chaturmasya.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
I went to Sri Rangam.
We're going to have to verify that. Very good, very good. The reason for the Lord coming there was actually he was looking for his pure devotee. And that was the son of Venkat Bhatt. His name was Gopal Bhatt. So Gopal Bhatt is the personality we're going to talk about today. He was born in 1503 until 1578. And he's the son of Venkat Bhatt. At that time, his age was 8, because Mahaprabhu went there 1511, and he was born 1503, so 8 years old. But he was very intelligent 8-year-old. He served Mahaprabhu daily and began to understand and dive into the depths of Mahaprabhu's teachings on Radha and Krishna. Now, the tradition in the south of Bharat is of Sri Sampradaya. In the Sri Sampradaya, their worshipable deities are Lakshmi Narayan. So Venkat Bhatt, he was very much a devotee of Lakshmi Narayan. He saw no difference between Narayan and Krishna. And in one sense, there is no difference. He's the same one personality of Godhead. So Mahaprabhu then explained to him the philosophy of Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti is where one has spontaneous love for Krishna. That is not tainted by awe and reverence, if you like. And he explained that Narayan is the opulent form of Krishna. But he only has 60 characteristics compared to Krishna, who has 64. Now, if devotees remember, Lord Brahma has 50 of these characteristics. Of course, the Lord has unlimited characters, but these are specifically highlighted by 6 Goswamis, and Rupa Goswami in more specifically, or Sanatan Goswami. So Brahma has 50, Lord Shiva has 55, Lord Vishnu Narayan has 60, and Krishna has 64. Does anybody remember what are these additional 4 qualities, if you like, that Krishna possesses? Yes, Riyansh. What are these additional 4? Huh?
What, Prabhuji?
What are these additional 4 characteristics that Krishna possesses that even Vishnu doesn't have?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
One is a flute playing.
Yes. Nobody plays a flute like Krishna. What else?
Buffalo horn?
Was it?
Buffalo horn. No.
Probably.
No, that's not
feather on his head.
No, not
No?
quite.
No. He is the greatest dancer. Nobody can dance like him. He's got the most amazing devotees, right? Most
Charmer.
amazing devotees.
He plays the flute.
Yeah, he plays the flute.
We got that, yeah. One more.
Aruna? Oh, no. Yeah, one more, which is he has the greatest, the most amazing pastimes. Nobody can beat the pastimes of Krishna. So these are the 4 additional characteristics. So Narayan himself meditates upon Krishna with a wish to enter the Ras dance. In fact, the goddess Lakshmi does the same. And we'll see a little bit later how she can enter, but it's quite difficult for her. In Vrindavan, Krishna plays the game of love with the residents of Vrindavan. So the son of Venkat Bhatt, Gopal Bhatt, had already realized that Gauranga was none other than Krishna, even before his father had realized. So he was an 8-year-old, but he was a smart 8-year-old. Mahaprabhu revealed himself as Krishna to Venkat Bhatt as well. Mahaprabhu told Venkat Bhatt that Gopal Bhatt is not an ordinary human being. He is an incarnation of a gopi called Gunamanjari. And Kavi Karnapura says Ananga Manjari. So he's possibly a little bit of both, and a personal associate of Radha and Krishna. Mahaprabhu initiated Gopal Bhatt and instructed him to go in due course of time and live in Vrindavan. So just going back to this pastime, Mahaprabhu asked Venkat Bhatt, how come Lakshmi Devi aspires for the company of Krishna in the Ras dance, for example? So then Venkat Bhatt said, well, yes, that's not unusual. It's one and the same. Narayan and Krishna are one and the same. So Lakshmi is not being unfaithful if she's also attracted to Krishna. But then Gauranga also asked Venkat Bhatt, how come Lakshmi Devi doesn't gain access to the Ras dance? And that was a little surprising for Venkat Bhatt. And he said, I don't know. Can you please explain to me? So then Gauranga explains that Lakshmi Devi, although part and parcel of the Supreme, she doesn't have the mood of the Brijbasis. Her mood is one of awe and reverence. And she doesn't have the same bhav, the same love that the gopis have for Krishna. Hence why, for her, it's very difficult to enter the Ras dance. In this way, Venkat Bhatt explained the supreme position of Krishna in relation to Lakshmi and Narayan. Sorry, Gauranga did. Who did I say? Venkat Bhatt. Okay, thank you. So he was given the instruction to preach. So Gopal Bhatt was given the instruction to preach the philosophy of devotion with Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, and also rediscover the sacred places where Radha and Krishna performed their pastimes. Gopal Bhatt left for Vrindavan after his parents passed away, and with their blessings, he literally ran to Vrindavan, crying, dancing, chanting, fully focused on Radha Krishna and the holy land of Vrindavan. Sometimes he became unconscious for hours while meditating, and his journey was being made more difficult by some of these challenges. One day, Gopal Bhatt met a Brahmin boy who helped him travel, and he guided him on the right route and cooked and cared for Gopal Bhatt. So this was on the journey back to Vrindavan. Gopal Bhatt spent his time living in Vrindavan, doing kirtan, giving kathas, and writing. He chose to live at a place where Radharani expressed separation from Krishna, when he disappeared from the Ras dance one time. Mahaprabhu departed from this world, and in separation from Mahaprabhu, Gopal Bhatt Goswami, Rupa Goswami, and Sanatana Goswami, they all were devastated. All the 6 Goswamis were totally devastated. They saw a vision of Mahaprabhu where he told Rupa and Sanatana to worship Govindev and Madan Mohan. And Madhu Pandit was worshipping Gopinath. So this is the vision that he had. Mahaprabhu told Gopal Bhatt to preach and go to the Gandaki river, where he will find Shaligram Shilas. And the first of 12 Shaligrams will be the Damodar Shila. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Gopal Bhatt that he will be residing in this Damodar Shila. Gopal Bhatt Goswami traveled to Gandaki river as per Mahaprabhu's instructions. En route, he met Gopinath, a young boy who Gopal Bhatt later on initiates him, realizing that he's a pure devotee. Gopinath took over after Gopal Bhatt left the planet. At Gandaki river, Gopal Bhatt, he finds the Shilas, the Damodar. In fact, they came into his hand. They jumped into his hands. He didn't have to pick them. They came to him. That Mahaprabhu had mentioned, along with the other 11. They all came to him. So what is this Gandaki river? Well, Vishnu becomes, in Nepal, this Annapurna mountain, because he was cursed by Tulsi Maharani to become a stone. And the stones from this mountain would fall into this Gandaki at Mukti.
Shaligrams?
Yes, these stones are directly Vishnu, known as Shaligram Sila. And Gandaki is none different from Tulsi Maharani. So she comes not in just the form of the tree, the plant, but also the river Gandaki. The markings are made on these Shaligram Sila by the worms over time, and the Shilas are identified accordingly. So this is a little idea of where this is Gandaki here. This is the mountain. This is Nepal. Kathmandu, the capital, is there. It's quite a journey. I haven't personally been there. Always wanted to go. Maybe one day. But we're very fortunate because Radha Shyam Sundar has come here. So this is the river. Must be such an extraordinary sight. And this is the mountain, Annapurna mountain. This is the gift that we received many years ago. And these are the markings. If you see the worms marks them over time, over thousands of years. And there's another marking here. Oops. There's a marking here. That's regarded to be a snake, the Anantashesh. And then we've had him painted and decorated and worshipping him as Shyam Sundar. And this is Balaram from Dwarka. He's known as Dwarka Shila. And he has these coral markings, thousands of them. Gopal Bhatt Goswami returned to Vrindavan with the 11 Shilas and he started worshipping them. This is Damodar.
Which is that Radha Raman?
Yes, it is. But the temple
When
wasn't there.
it is combined together.
Sorry? Yes. Yeah, well,
When it is combined together to form the teeth.
did they combine or did the Damodar Shila convert himself? I think he converted himself, right?
There's only one.
Yeah.
The other stayed as they were.
Rupa Goswami was serving Govindji. Sanatana Goswami was serving Madan Mohan, and Madhu Pandit was worshipping Gopinathji. So, but Gopal Bhatt, he didn't have any deity. He was worshipping the Shila, which is as good as the deity. So Gopal Bhatt, he used to come and dress the deities of Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, or Madhu Pandit. And he adored the face of Govindji, the chest of Gopinath, and the feet of Madan Mohan. He developed a very strong desire to worship the deities with all these features in one form, right? So one morning on Nrsimha Jayanti, Gopal Bhatt, he was gifted many clothes and ornaments for his deity worship, but he can't dress a stone. Very difficult, right? This increased his desire to worship a deity, dress the deity, and decorate the deity. He began crying to the Lord, saying that on this day you appeared from a pillar in the form of Nrsimha for Prahlad Maharaj and his love. But for Gopal Bhatt, his desires are unfulfilled and he is unable to have a deity of his own in full form to worship and dress and adorn as he desired. So this was on Nrsimha Jayanti. His plea was, you came out of the pillar for Prahlad, but you can't do that for me. He fell asleep crying, but he was reassured by Krishna in a dream that his desire would be soon fulfilled. So this is Govinda in Jaipur, worshipped in Jaipur. Rupa Goswami would worship. This is Gopinath, Madhu Pandit. And this is Madan Mohan. Beautiful deities in worship now in Karoli. In Vrindavan, they also have installed Madan Mohan. Very beautiful. Okay, so, okay. The 12, they said, next morning, Gopal Bhatt Goswami awoke and he found only 11 of the 12 Shilas when he went to do his morning puja. So the Damodar Shila had taken the beautiful form of Lord Krishna. The deity had the face of Govindji, the broad chest of Gopinath, and the soft lotus feet like Madan Mohan. The deity manifested from the love of Gopal Bhatt Goswami. The place Gopal Bhatt Goswami chose for his bhajan was a spot where Krishna disappeared from Raslila, and Radharani had experienced deep pangs of separation. And this is the exact place where the deity self-manifested from Damodar Shila appeared. The Goswamis therefore named the deity Radha Raman. And this is where the temple is at this moment in time. So there you go. There's Gopal Bhatt with his adorable deity. Radha Raman appeared out of Gopal Bhatt's deep love and desire. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu too wanted to remain in a manifest form after his departure from the world. He had explained that he would remain present in the Damodar Shila. Devotees take darshan of Krishna and Gaura in one form in Radha Ramanjit. This is the most fascinating deity. This is extraordinary. And he never left Vrindavan. The others left because of the Mughals. But Radha Raman is quite small. It's only about maybe a foot and a bit. So they didn't consider Radha Raman to be much of a threat. So they left him alone.
They hid him.
Or they hid him. Yeah, they hid him.
Because he was so small.
He was so tiny. So, but he's the most glorious, glorious deity. This is, and you can see here the marking of a rope. This is Radha Damodar, because it's a Damodar Shila. So this indicates that he was tied up, this deity, by the love of Mother Yashoda's ropes.
No, Radharani's robes.
And Radharani's robes, yeah. Radha Ramanji is truly bound by love. When Radha Ramanji manifested from the Damodar Shila, the original markings of the Shila appeared under his waist, the same place he would have been bound by the rope in Damodar Lila. Radha Ramanji is Radha and Krishna combined. The temple still, however, worships the holy name of Radha next to the Radha Ramanji deity. Gopal Bhatt Goswami asked the brother of his first disciple, Gopinath, his name was Damodar, to get married and continue the lineage of the Goswamis who worship at the temple. Damodar was initiated by Gopal Bhatt Goswami and given the name Damodar Das Goswami. Gopal Bhatt ki jai. Okay, so I wanted to stop there. If anybody's any questions, any comments. Okay, so